Priscilla, welcome to the Sipping Point. I'm so excited to have you on the show. And the topic of your life's work now is rethinking the wine industry. I read some of your articles on LinkedIn and I was so intrigued. So I'm just so thrilled to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me to come into your show. I'm really excited to be able to talking a little bit things that not many people talking about it, and it's so amazing. So we can actually be together and challenge you a little bit of thinking like what we know, what we don't know yet, so what we needed to understand with these challenges in the market and how we can find opportunities. I think this is going to be very great conversation and very constructive conversation. So thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. And just so people know, Priscilla is joining us from Australia, where I think it's 9:30 in the morning, I believe, whereas it's 5:30 in the evening here. So we're worlds apart and different time zones here, but we're still coming to the table to talk about. You had this aha moment about the wine industry and the direction and the focus. I mean, we know a lot of us in the business that, we're under, I guess, attack, if you want to think of it that way, with, less wine drinkers maybe, or people drinking less. And maybe wine's not the cool kid and cocktails and some seltzers and other things are. So, what made you start this movement, I guess, if you will, about rethinking the wine industry?
So that's a very good question. I guess like everything it started for me when because I was like everyone else thinking the wine in the same way because that's what we've been told is the same. I see the wine industry narratives now, so that's how I can putting myself out of a different perspectives and sometimes I learn to be able to learn in different things. So that is how it was the process of changing. But I guess it's hard because I was one of the same person like most of the time. So we've been told these narratives, and we don't ask if what is right or not right, is actually valid or not valid. You're just following that narrative as you have been told. We, when you get older, you not get a more that curious mind like kids. Like kids asking you why all the time. You don't ask you why you do things. You just do it, and I think that was the process of changing for me. And I had that, I think things happened to my life unexpected. And I was going through this unexpected path. Like I was a sommelier doing the same job, educated people, talk about wine the way everyone talking, sophistication, expensive, blah, blah, blah. He never study anything about tech or anything about AI, anything about anything else. It's just these 100 books about soil, climate, grapes. Okay, I think that's the path of everyone. We just learned the same things. And then I was thinking the same. I was pretty much the same as 95%, like all the sommeliers we have in the 90% of the sommeliers we have in the market. The same mentality, same thing. And I had this opportunity with a guy, a very successful guy, where was a client of mine in Argentina. So we became that friendship for over 10 years on this conversation on the WhatsApp all the time, in video calls. And he wanted to do a business in the wine industry. And he said, like, Priscilla, I need your help because I don't really have anything in the wine. But he came in with completely different upside down. So he putting all my foods upside down. He said, like, you can't do business like this. You can't do business like that. You need some innovation. It's like, what are you talking about? You're not going to do like the same thing that people have done for decades, Priscilla. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then he was challenging myself so much, like the way I think was a process of him. And I got invited to have a talk on the AI and the wine industry for government organization here in Australia. Didn't know anything about AI. I thought actually I told my husband like, oh, I sent this email from the government, but it's very rare because I don't even know what's AL. And my husband says, Prissy, it's not AL, it's AI. so, so you have idea how things started. So And I spent, it was a month before the talk. I spent a month reading everything I could, learn everything I could, do the presentation. And I was like there with so many scientists and so many people I haven't never talked about. Like, oh my God, this is very uncomfortable. I want to go home. I don't know what I'm doing. And then that was pushing me myself into learning things that I have been never thought before. And then that is challenging and things it happening in my life. That's how I was like, why we do this? Why is it bad? Wait a minute. Consumer doesn't know those, like, because I was talking about 95 points Robert Parker, James Holiday on the floor because I was working day Murphy's with customers, face to face customers, and then people look at me and say, "What are you talking about? This is that Instagram, like is a famous on Instagram. It's like a actor. It's like, and then for me, I was like, you don't know what Jensen Robinson is, and then people know James Holiday. Is he in Australia? No, and I was like, wait a minute. Everything I have been told, I'm not sure if it's 100% sure anymore. And that was the process of relearning and understanding customers. We have about 7,000 customers every week. And everything, and it was not only customers for wine. Those people have it arted because they Murphys, we have it RTDs, we have beers, we have many things. And it was like, wait a minute, what's happening? And then because I was in the wine merchant, I saw all the red numbers coming down, all the sales coming down. I was like, and RTDs come up. It's like, all right, we need to do something. This is insane. We can actually keeping heavy ready numbers every month.
Right.
We're not selling wines, and we have this 100% research we did with the research team, with the wine merchants and the Murphys, to engage with the new behaviors and and understand the new generations because it's changing all the norms. It's like, okay, I need to do something, and that's how we started the project of rethinking.
I love that. And in reading some of your articles and even just my own kind of focus, as I've learned over the last 20 years of my business in doing thousands of events, probably with consumer wine drinkers, tastings and wine dinners and tours. I always would joke around like people want to know a lot less than you think they do. They don't want all of the data that we're trying to cram in our heads about the different soil types and the plots and the vine grafting onto the different vine stocks. And this is the type of thing that's really pushed into us when you train to become a sommelier or a wine educator. And a lot of the way we're selling, and I believe this is what you're saying as well, is we're talking to ourselves and what we're talking into a language that everyone else doesn't understand. And so I love the focus on stories of the winemaker's story, how they became a winemaker, or the experience of the wine, or just how it might make you feel. And so I brought a wine to the table, and I know you did as well. And you have a huge focus in sustainability. But in honor of you being in Australia, I brought a wine that I found at my local store, and I live in a small town, so I was kind of excited to find this. It's called Pipe Dream, and it's from Unica, Zelo. It's a Nero de Avila, which is a grape that we normally see in Sicily, but this is grown in the Adelaide Hills. And I love it. It says push the birthday button. And then this is like the explosion that you might get on your birthday, right? Of like streamers and things like that. And on the back, it just says it says expressive, fruity. It seems very fun, very focused on how this is going to make you feel from the label to the wax top here, the pink. Um, I saw you smile when I let you know this was what I was bringing to the table. Are you familiar with the winery? And
I
is this what you're talking about in changing the way we position our wines in the marketplace?
I definitely love this winery. The guys is very fun. So the thing is I was one of the judges for wine communication Australia Wine Communication Awards, and then these guys actually participate with some of the social media strategy. No, I think it was the social media, or social media was digital strategy, something like this. And then these guys, it's really funny because they actually have a YouTube channel, and when he talk about wine, not necessarily only about their wines. So they can actually come with you other wineries. The focus is not only promote my brand, this is my brand, this is my brand, but it's like actually bringing that culture of drink wine in like in the fun way. So you see like a lot of the video on YouTube. I think it's like for winery having 9,000 actually things and they subscribers. It's a lot. So they have about
Amazing.
amazing 90,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel. And then when you just see pretty much talking about wine, and then what people want to, they don't want it to be selling, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. So this guy is very clever, even with the social media strategy. And they are fun, they're young, they are bright, they don't, you know, they are very natural, they are very authentic. And I think it's very easy to engage with them, to, you know, to understand them, to talking to watching them. It's amazing. I really love it. And you see the label, the label, and they say like, this is birthday party. Take to the birthdays, you know, they put it the occasion in your mind, why you drink it, like when you drink it. That's pretty much most of consumers wanted to know. Like, I want a birthday, my party, birthday party, I want to take a bottle. What am I going to take it? You know, have a 3,000 available labels available in the bottle shops. Which one? You know, you needed to be more clear with the message. And I think this guy's doing a great job. And I think you could not pick anything better than. I don't know was it available in US, but definitely this is one of the my favorite winery.
Yeah, it was about 30, a little over $30 for the bottle. It's obviously because it's made in a different place. It's very different from a Sicilian Nero d'Avola, but I do like it exactly like the label said. It's bright, it's expressive, it has all kinds of raspberry flavors and aromas there, and it's really wonderful and just fun. It tastes like the label portrays, like a celebration in your mouth. So I really was excited. It seems that they are dedicated to sustainability, which I know is a big focus for you as well. And it was
Yes,
just really fun. And I've always been a huge fan. I went to Australia in 2000 and got to tour both the Barossa and the Hunter Valleys. And I know how much great wine is there, but we don't always see it on the shelves here in the US because some of the bigger brands kind of choked out, you know, the idea of the small brands. But it was, I think, of all labels, I mean, Australian wineries are pretty fun and pretty cheeky in in the way they market, so they have something going. But I know you brought something to the table, and it's
it's
not
not a
even
bottle, by the
wine.
way. I think it's gonna be very different, and I'm gonna bring up. I think probably everyone's bring a bottle to your show, but I think we should actually promote something different. It's a
Yeah.
box. So it's amazing. This is actually can have this is one cask, but they have actually equivalent of 4 bottles.
Yep.
Completely the sustainable side. This is guys is very famous for the sustainable in the wine industry. So it is people always have this reference in the mind like box wine, your cask wine is always be the lower quality or there is a lot of lower quality in the market, unfortunately. But there is actually something actually great. One is like Ricca Terra. So this is not cheaper, like it was not like $3 or something like that. So it actually
Mhm.
cost me like a 50 or $55 to the box. So it's still cheaper because it's still like you pay a bottle $30 and then pay a bottle probably $12, something like that. But very affordable, I would say, but I would say not as a at the moment we if you buy a bottle of this because the glass because the things is became more expensive, but this if you buy a box usually it's much sustainable and usually they make you in the cheaper prices for a bottle than a cask. That's at least in the Ricatera you can get that. And then the good thing about this when you open a bottle it's pretty much you need to drink in pretty much the day or the next day, because the oxygen, it's just if you have a caravan or have lots of other things. Most people don't do it, don't have it, to be honest. You can put it in your fridge for another couple of days if you like it, but it's changing the aromas because the oxygen. But this is in the box, so you can actually keep for 8 weeks. So you can just have a little glass, a little tasty anytime with dinner. So we don't need to finish the whole bottle. You don't need to finish the next day. You can just have a little bit if you like it anytime, and the next 2 months, and you'll be okay with the oxygen. And it's pretty easy. You just need to press this button here, and the wines come out like this.
And where is this one from? Did you say?
So Riverland. So Riverland is it's in South Australia. So it's about 3 hours where I am now, like here from Adelaide. It's actually very. I wanted to put you in touch with the owner of Ricca Terra, because I think he's going to be very good for your show. He's one of the biggest innovator as well in the wine industry, and then he's very focused on the sustainability. So I think it's going to be a great cast to be able to talking about different stuff, different ideas, and he's actually bringing different varieties as well to Riverland. And it's not only Chardonnay, Shiraz. He actually bring like a lot of the other great varieties to test on the valley. He's a very clever man. And then of course the box, the presentation. My daughter love it because she feel like a rainbow. It's for her. It's a mommy box, a rainbow box. And it's very young, bright, sustainable. 4 box and then one or four bottles and one cask. So it is a very good way to think if you want to think about sustainable, how we can make the world better. So definitely something I was taking.
I think that, there's a lot of new packaging, pouches and cans and boxes that we're starting to see. There's definitely, I mean, if you look at how much pushback there was in the industry, or at least, from a lot of people on just screw caps. It just takes a while, it seems, for people to adopt these things and to understand. But you are just launching your website, rethinking.wine. I see that now it went live, or at least to some extent it went live. And so, what can people expect? What will you be rolling out there from the website, and how can we all help in wine? Is this amazing to me beverage that is such a great connector of people, unlike any other beverage, is such a great companion to food, more so for me than beer or cocktails. But it does have this issue of being bogged down in the details or the status of it, and all these different things. How will rethinking wine kind of change all that?
I thank you for the opportunity to talk about this project, and thanks so much for the question as well. As in project, to be honest, I was following my heart than actually anything I had prepared since the beginning. I was actually following my heart the whole way through. Because we started with the newsletter, we get lots of attention. We start to increase the follows on the LinkedIn with the all hard questions we actually make in the LinkedIn, and I think it started to happen to us. And I feel like I need to do something more organized, where actually I can get more precision data, so I can share that information with the community, and that's what the platform is about. The idea of the platform in the because I think with the knowledge we have today in the wine industry, solve the problem. We needed to be able to bring new knowledge, and some of this new knowledge, it's gonna opportunity is gonna leave us on the challenges ourselves, because we need to make tough questions, but vital questions. It needs to be done that questions to be able to know what the practice we do today we actually it's good for the industry, what the practice is not good for the industry anymore. Why we keep in doing things the way we do it, if we could improve it, and then what's the change is going to be in the society. We know the generation Z, for example, is changing the norms. is completely changed. They don't. It's not just in the wine industry. Beyond that, they don't want to work 80 hours. They all freelancers now. It's changing everything we know about it. And then we needed to catch all those things before they attack us very hard. So it's a platform where we aim to be able to bring discussions, to be able to bring in knowledge, to be able to bring in different knowledge we don't have in the industry, and hopefully we can actually make it clear research, because I feel like lots of things we have available is a lot of it manipulated us. So before they do the research, they already have the answer, and I wanted to not stop it to do that in the industry because it's stopping us to progress. All the researches, I believe, it needs to be clear where we actually start from questions to try to find any answer, not get the answer first. They try to get the research to prove your answers right. So it is it is such a I guess the word is changing and AI is going to come in very strong and it's going to disrupting everything, and we needed to be prepared for what's going to come and what's is going to be next, what we can adapt to as quickly as the world evolving. And the platform is going to help us to do that. So we hope we're going to do a beta testing now in Feb, and hopefully the launch I can tell you very soon when you're going to be a proper launch. But yeah, so we use a lot of tech and AI for to be able to help us with this predictors and information, connect information to be able to give you a knowledge it doesn't exist yet in your industry. So that's the aim for the Rethinking online. It's just discover really what we don't know, because most of the time we don't know. We don't know what you don't know. What they are. You know.
um, next episode of the show, I'm speaking with a couple of gentlemen who wrote a book called The Rosé Revolution, and it's a beautiful book, all about really how rosé has become such a phenomenon. I mean, for years and years, obviously in the wine business, many of us have loved dry rosé from Provence and other regions, but Provence, of course, being the big one, but people just wouldn't drink it because they had this idea that it was sweet or it was less than uh, red or white, And one of the wineries they feature in the book, they have 13 wineries, but one of them is Whispering Angel, Sasha Lachine. And he comes from a family in Bordeaux, and certainly rosé would not be looked upon as prestigious as a white Bordeaux, a red Bordeaux, and that sort of thing. And he sold his family's Bordeaux estate really to focus solely on rosé. And I don't know if Whispering Angel is as big of a thing in Australia as it is here in the States, but this is the one wine you can find everywhere that everyone knows about and certainly has put rosé on the map. But one of the things Sasha did really well is selling the idea of sunshine and fun and luxury, affordable luxury, right? You can have a bottle of Whispering Angel for $22. Maybe you don't summer in Monaco, but you can drink like you summer in Monaco. What are your thoughts on how that evolution, and can we learn something from rosé? Rosé all day, yes way rosé.
But
In this
definitely our
rethinking.
industry needed that.
What did you say?
Yeah, definitely we can learn so much for the rosé and even champagne with the celebration feeling. I 100% with you. If you think outside of the actually the wine industry, even just to prove the concept of the rosé, how they are so right. Because first of all, I think that's between the whole categories we have in the wine industry, rosé and sparkling. They actually that's one is actually doing well in the wine industry because the red wines is struggling, and we know all that. Rosé actually is brightening now at the moment, so they're actually doing well. The sales of rosé, that's what actually increasing at the moment. So that is a fact. We can't ignore it. Then the way the marketing itself is definitely is making the sales go up. So there is a reason that so we can actually connect it exactly what you say, because then they're not telling you how they make rosé, but they how you feel drinking rosé. But let's compare that with even like the new approach of the Jaguar, the cars. They always was talking about it. I don't know if people have watched, and if you not, have a lot of material about it on YouTube. But they always talking about the features of the car, how great this car is because we have this motto and blah blah blah. So many things I don't even understand because I'm car and Priscilla is zero. I have no idea anything about car. So
Yeah.
if you talk about all these mottos, 1 2 point blah blah blah, you making this making that, I have absolutely no idea. The same for computer. If you tell me the computer have this processor and blah blah blah, I have no idea what it's going to make for me. And I think that's the same feeling for people in the wine industry. The same, like, okay, this is studying and okay and French oak and American oak and blah blah blah, and you're making this, making that, and then people say, okay, it's the same feeling for them. For us, it's not because we know, we understand it, making simple and familiar to us. But for people who don't know, it's like you buy a Jaguar car when you have these plenty features talking about this motor, and you don't have what is motor doing, like what 2.0 is it better than 1.0, what they actually make the difference. Now, it's very hard than that. And the Jaguar, for example, changed completely the approach now, you know, to do like actually not talk about features anymore. They very, very brave and change completely the marketing strategy for exactly for the feeling because we know people don't understand the features. And then it's so hard in the wine industry, and the same it was for the software industry as well. When you have this computer, when the people say this processor, blah blah blah, these whole words that most of the people have absolutely no idea. So with the computer, just like, oh, this is fonts. When you buy an Apple, like they take a nice picture, they produce good, and that's what you want. Like it communicate what people want to hear, like what you're gonna see for it's gonna benefit. Like I when you're going to a shop, I don't know about the OQ, about how many time they spend in the vineyards. I don't know anything like this. But I want a bottle. I go in there because I have a problem. I want a bottle. My problem is I want a bottle for my birthday. I want a bottle because I have my wedding anniversary and I need to bring something good for my wife, for my husband. So that's my problem. So you need to talking with my problem because that's what the solution I want. But if you just complicate it too much, people are just gonna leave it because confused consumers don't buy. And I think that's just harder for us in the wine industry to understand as a whole because we have these narratives in your mind. That's what people want. That's assumptions. That's what people want. And then it just it's hard for us to change that mentality of it to like what Jaguar did, like the cars. But the rosé is absolutely a beautiful example, and it's not just for the whole rosé revolution. It's because it's a rosé. It's a drinking all day. It's a drinking and it's a drinking in the pool. How many rosé you see on Instagram drinking in the pool? Then give it a sensation, a occasion, a feeling, a time to drink your rosé. Things we don't do with the other categories.
I love that. Yeah. And I like the, sort of tie in with cars or technology. It really is about, how is this product going to benefit them? How are they going to feel when they get it? Um, you know, but the challenge is always the language, how to understand what people like. And I'm always telling people to trust their own tastes and give them enough knowledge to be able to say, I like sweet wines, oh gosh, like in the wine industry, that's like that's like such a terrible, oh, you drink sweet. But sometimes that's what people like. And why should we make them feel bad that that's what they like? Oh, that's not a serious wine, or that's not an expensive, I think we really have to sort of check that whole, sort of telling people like children what they should be drinking rather than
And
letting them explore on their own.
Yeah, I think it's very simple. It's not the end of the world. It's just for us because you have that framework and that
Mhm.
perspective. It limits yourself so much to do the same thing. And then it changes always unfamiliar. And then when you need to pass on this process, it's harder for a lot of people just change the behavior, the way they do things. But and we know, and you have lots of things happen outside even the wine industry. We can compare and say like, okay, these guys did like this and now they change it and it worked, so why you don't try? But I think with the time, with the voice, and we bring in more people voice like you, like, bringing more these guys like the Rosé Revelation, and we see more these samples, it became like a normal. And hopefully that's it's changed the industry. That's how we can progress and become relevant for the future, because we can't really just keep in doing things the way we do and not think about consumers, because consumers, that's keep us in business. Keep you in business, be in business, producing business. If you don't have consumers consuming wine, everyone here is not going to exist. So it's important for us to look at the consumer side, like, and then if the other industries innovated and do it different way, it's because there is a problem in the wine industry. We cannot just ignore all the software or the cars industry and then keeping doing only the wine industry without to see what the other people doing and innovate themselves. But I think communication is definitely something we 100% the perception people have in the wine industry. If we change that, I think it's going to be so beneficial as a whole category, not just for red wine or white wine, but the whole wine category. I think the perception what wine is, it's very challenging for the new generations now.
Love that. Well, Priscilla, thank you so much for making time to speak with us on the sipping point. I love that you're trying to turn, I guess, the wine industry on its head and get us to kind of think about things differently. I know consumers are going to benefit from that, and the wineries as well, as we move into this new technology driven AI, will really benefit us, I think, to really understand what consumers want. And I love that you are taking this up as your mission. If people want to check out more about what you're doing, where can they go?
So please send me. So coming to the website, and always you
Yes.
can check me underneath and just send a message. You have a space to send a message on the website, the rethinking.wine. Because it does, is we can see like what is gonna come, and then I'm so excited about this project because I think it's gonna be bringing you knowledge to the wine industry. And yeah, and then you always can find me on the social media. Priscilla
That's
Hennekam.
great.
It's not many Priscilla. I don't think you have any other Priscilla Hennekam. When I Google my name, just type me. So it's very easy to find me.
I
It's
love
gonna
it.
be this. I don't have my name because my name is Priscilla, is Brazilian, and Henneke
Yes.
is married with Australia who has a background in Holland, and it became a Priscilla Henneke, was not really a common name.
I love it. Well, Priscilla, thank you so much. I just want to raise a glass and say cheers to you. Thank you for coming on the
Yeah.
sipping point. Cheers.